Mean-Mugging with Chinny G here. I am joined via Skype with Edward Hoyt from Hoyt Productions. How's it going, Ed?
Pretty good, my friend, pretty good.
Right on, right on. What's the weather like out there, man? It's hot and muggy here.
Well, it's not a bad day. I'd say probably about 38 to 42 degrees Fahrenheit.
Nice, nice. So, you're a busy guy these days.
I never stop, my friend. I never stop.
Right on. Oh, Chinny's fogging up. Gotta put the other glasses on. That's better. Yeah, you have an event coming up here really quick. Do you want to talk a little bit about Atlantic Warriors?
Yes, sir. Well, 2012, I founded the organization, Hoyt Atlantic Warriors MMA. So I was trying to hold an adventure in my home city. The council, city council, rejected the offer for us to have it then, and then we went to Washington neighboring city, and they also did the same thing. So the only place legally in Brunswick to hold events at that time was Moncton. So June of 2013, we held our very first event in Moncton, and that following October, the commission got shut down. They created a state commission here. We had a provincial commission here, which was just in November 2014. And as of February of this year, we're legally able to hold events here in the city via a permit. So we secured all that good stuff. And since about the second week of March, we've been going right straight at it like crazy people.
Very cool, very cool.
And, yeah.
And you're doing something for the zoo out there.
Yes, well, in 2012, when I was originally going to have our event here, one of the things I did is I was security about the zoo, a local zoo that's non-funded provincially or federally. It's a civic base, and they give them peanuts to survive. And what it is, they're a licensed zoo, which you don't see very much nowadays. You have to go to the law rigmarole to ever become such a thing. So I made them the promise back in 2012. Like I said to them, I said, the minute I get to have an event here in St. John, New Brunswick, I will adopt you as our charity. And since then we've done so. A portion of our proceeds from this event are going to them, and our 50/50 draw and will go to them.
Cool, and you've been working tirelessly to make this happen. MMA in New Brunswick.
Yes, well, actually this afternoon I was actually talking with a member of legislative assembly actually to help me get this, to make it a reality here in Buck.
Right.
What had happened was that they had, after the civic commission got shut down in Mean-Muggin, I went and worked with her for a couple months, gave her all the information I had. She started working with everyone else at the same time, and then brought it forward so we could actually have it as a civic, no longer a civic commission, but a provincial commission. Well, it's an overseeing body that actually monitors things. One of the biggest things in the mixed martial art world, you're probably familiar with, is injury. And one of the things they try us as a promoter are not putting the athlete as the utmost priority in it, then guys end up with concussions and more worse.
Yeah,
so we want to make sure that our sport stays very clean in the province.
Well, yeah. I'm just looking at your evolution poster here right now. I got it up on screen. You got a nice little card coming up here, and that's going down on June 20th.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, you got some fine looking ring girls too, brother. The Hoyt Honeys.
The Hoyt Honeys. Well, they're actually more than ring girls, and that was one of the stigmatisms in the sport that's been around for a long time. Is that the girls actually work with their sponsors or charities, and a couple of them actually do pop in the ring to be a ring girl for the night of the event. But we go right all the time. We've already had a launch party where the girls attended, and actually we're doing lots of good stuff. And then we also had, we have a day of the zoo with that Hoyt Honeys coming up on May 23rd. Some children and stuff like that. There is awareness with the zoo.
Right.
And then that night we have an after party there for the adults. Get the babysitters for the kids. Have a nice adult party afterwards.
Right.
Once we do that, we laid into the weigh-ins on June 19th. And then June 20th is the big day where we actually get to highlight all our amazing local athletes. And athletes are coming all the way from Ontario. I guess there's a guy coming out of Quebec now that I just found out today. They've got all the Atlantic provinces covered. So we're trying to really make sure that on June 20th, the people that go to see the show actually leave with a big smile on their face that they actually spent very wise dollars if you like MMA.
Right on, right on. You've got some Muay Thai fights on this card as well, yes? Are you still there? Oh, yeah.
I'm having a hard time hearing it. I'm sorry.
Okay, sorry about that. You've got some Muay Thai fights on this card as well, correct?
I'm sorry?
You've got some Muay Thai fights on this card?
Yes, sir. We do have Muay Thai on this card. As it sits right now, it's been one of those situations where we've been working very diligently and very hard to make sure that the Muay Thai end of it is very good. Well, look at this right here. We actually have some local star hosts here actually just popping in here for a minute into the old dungeon here with us, and that's actually from a local radio show there called Rope to Rope. And I hang out and do some discussion here Tuesday about what's going on here in the next little while.
Right on. I really like I like the mix. I like the fact that you got some Muay Thai on this this card as well as the MMA. I think that's a really cool thing.
Oh, that's perfect. I am so excited with Muay Thai. It's actually one of the sports I truly enjoyed a lot of years of watching and actually get to participate every once in a while.
Right. In case people don't know, you used to fight yourself.
I used to play around in it off and on for the last 20 years.
Yeah, that's yeah.
And multitude of different martial arts years, and thoroughly enjoy being stuck in back in my day it wasn't the cage, it was a ring. But today it's progressed into a little more harder to get out of there if something happens.
Yeah. So I really like your logo. I love the bowl, man. That's very cool.
Thank you.
And it
Well,
definitely.
actually, there's quite a story behind how that came about, actually. Here, actually in 2000, forgive me if I got this wrong, it was either 10 or 11, it's been a few years now. One of the guys I grew up with was in a bad car accident, was killed, and his nickname was the Bull. So that's where we came to the Bull by the horns.
Right.
Where that came from.
Right. Yeah, but it's unique. It's something I haven't seen, and I follow a lot of promotions, as you know. I had Skippy Cohen on the show the other night from MMA Madhouse, and we actually brought you up.
Yes.
And you're going to be partnering with them. I think in the future you guys are working on something so that they can stream your events on the Global Combat Network.
Yes. Right there, he's been working on trying to get me on the Global Combat Network here. And we have actually a guy who's a movie producer. Actually, he's going to kind of give him a pretty good live stream there to feed. So should be very nice.
Nice, sweet. Yeah, production's really important. We've got a lot. I'm lucky right now because where I live, I'm in a hotbed of MMA for Western Canada. I live just north of Edmonton, Alberta. And I get to see a shitload of cars.
I betcha, especially living there.
Yeah. Actually, I'm in Cold Lake. I'm about 3.5 hours away from Edmonton. But we've got a King of the Cage card coming up here on June 12th. So I'm looking forward to that. I'll get to sit ringside with Dean Panis for that, and yeah, it's going to be a blast.
Oh, nice.
But what brought you? I mean, what brought you to this point that you decided you needed to? Obviously it's a passion.
Well,
There's no doubt about that. But
I've always had a passion for martial arts. That's always been there. But in 2012, another promoter actually got a hold of me and asked me if I'd come up and kind of partner with him. And his vision and my vision were two different things. So the vision that that he had held at the time is, he wanted to go one way, I wanted to go another way.
Right.
And when that happened, I said, well, I partnered up with a couple people at the time after that, and they turned out to be very interesting individuals. I left that partnership as fast as I could and went independent completely. And then...
Are you there, brother?
I broke up there for a second. So once that happened, we went independent, and then after that, we ended up really taking that old bull by the horns. We went at 2013, started into this project, and by the time 2013 June rolled around, we had quite an event. Top MMA News had very nice things to say about us, and a couple of the larger magazines around.
Right on, right on. It's really cool to see you picking up the ball and running with it. I'm thinking you're going to do quite well in that area. I lived in Newfoundland a few years back in Corner Brook, and I couldn't even find a gym there.
Oh, there's actually all day. The hardest thing is getting the newer, for athletes that looking to show their stuff and maybe go into what my whole goal was to create a very good amateur and professional circuit that maybe wants to go from their amateur, get their 4 or 5 fights in the amateur, move it to a professional level, and then being sure that organizations like yourselves and Skippy and those guys, they could send something to you, and because for some reason why people seem to like you guys out there out west, and seem to get some of our the guys that are up and comers into the right places and the right people's hands, so they might get a shot at in the UFC or Bellator or
right.
I mean the bigger shows.
I was talking to a friend of mine, and he's with World Series of Fighting last night. I was talking with him, and he's actually he is really big on helping young fighters. He actually works alongside Never Tap as well with Chris Mills, who's a good friend of mine as well, and they're really big on sponsoring elite level fighters. Like they sponsored Gary Magnat at SFL last Saturday night there, SFL 40 in Washington. And he's really big on that, and it's really important that people realize that these guys need they need to step up. They need a helping hand as well, right?
Exactly, and that's the biggest thing that I personally like to see is to have an integration amongst the different organizations throughout Canada and the United States. So that way, if there is an up and comer that comes off any circuit, it gets those proper opportunities, so they don't have to end up in places where they have to, I've seen 2 or 3 young athletes. One of the young fellows that I've been friends with here through his parents for the last while is Ryan Jimmo. Did very well out west, and then made it to the UFC. But in fact, it's one of his greatest complaints that he had was there's no integrated style of, okay, well here, you're on Atlantic Canada, you're in Ontario, you're in out west, how do we get people from point A to point B and into that seat for the big shows?
Right.
And that's one of the things that I'm working on diligently here to try to make sure that we create.
I
so
know.
that way once someone, sees that talent, we can make sure that, the proper people that are out there have a DVD copy of their fight that they've done or fights and stuff like that to give them those opportunities that, the ones that came up at first didn't get that. And, I think we'll take the level and quality of athletes to a new level.
Right. I know I got a young guy on social media who keeps inboxing me and asking me if I can help him out, and I'm like, well, what's your record? He says, well, I've never fought before. I said, well, that doesn't help you a whole lot. I said, you need to get yourself into some amateur competition, whether it's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, or whatever. I said, but you need to get yourself some experience. He says, well, I need sponsors.
You have some experience before you want to,
Yeah, well, he says I need sponsors. It's like, well, I'm not a manager, dude. You need to find yourself a manager.
Yeah, Exactly.
You know, like I've got contacts, but my contacts are, you know, I'm not gonna, you know, how do you tell somebody, oh, this kid's 0-0, I don't know a damn thing about him, why don't you give him a chance? I mean, you gotta, you know, give me some information at least, and maybe I can pass you on to somebody.
It's hard. And that's one of the things with the contract that you have people set up. One of the big things to make sure you have all that information, even as a promoter.
Yes.
So that way that someone like yourself can question, well, tell me a little bit about this person. Well, you know, they're, you know, such and such an age. This is their record. This is their files, their fighters' styles, and stuff on that basis. So that way it kind of gives that, you know, broad scope picture. And if they do have, you know, anyone that has fought on one of our cards, that what we can do, then we can include a DVD copy of, okay, well, here, take a look at it, see what you think.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and that kind of gets that, you know, unsolicited style things on the go that were, you know, lacking previously.
Right, right. But yeah, I've taken to calling you the godfather of Atlantic MMA.
Yes, it's very popular over here on the East Coast.
Right on. And it's great. This is obviously the fastest growing sport in the world today. And it's so cool to be a part of it. Like I'm too old to compete, and I'm 47. I'll be 48 here in a little while, but we won't talk about that too much. But when I was coming up, when I was a youngster, you know, we didn't have MMA gyms. You were either in boxing, maybe you went to Spears and trained at Spears, you know, or you took karate. And me, I was really fortunate because I knew a guy who was taking jiu-jitsu back then, but of course it wasn't. It was more the Korean balance as opposed to Brazilian jiu-jitsu. And so I had that benefit there of being able to do that for a little while until I got my knee messed up. But it's, you know, today's young martial artists, the new generation now, just have so much more of a step up than we had.
No, exactly. It's starting to really take shape a lot further than it ever did before.
Well, and that's because of people like you who are willing to, you know, step up. People like Jesse Fox with Havoc, fighting championships out of Calgary, right? And you know, Sonny Serene with Unified, and he also does the King of the Cage fights up here. You know, it's because of guys like you that these young fellas have a platform to showcase and to you know, get that in cage experience.
And that's a big thing right now, is to get that in cage experience. I mean, one of the things we do that is a lot different than here on the East Coast. We use a full size. Well, talk about King of the Cage was actually a previous owner of one of the King of the Cage cages. I bought that from them. It's one of the 30 footers. So that gives them a lot different. They get used to being in a big show. Because if you're putting someone in an 18 or 20 foot cage, one of the things is that it's just like being in a racket cage.
Right.
Someone actually going to have the experience in a full size cage. So that way they get used to using their space, they get used to using the differential, their angles and stuff like that, so they can learn how to square, not how to square off properly.
Right.
So.
Right, but yeah, man, I think you're doing wonderful things, man, and I couldn't be a bigger supporter of what you're doing.
I truly appreciate that, man. I love hearing that. You know, it kind of humbles you at times, the amount of support that you're getting. You know, some of the bigger players in this game seem to be watching this too, and I was just like, when I started finding this out, I'm like, really?
Yeah.
It humbles you at times to see, but all we have to do is compare everything with, you know, ethics, morals, and integrity at all times. Now, sometimes in this game it's a little hard to maintain all three of those because there's some people out there that don't share the same type of vision and same type of background, I guess. And but those guys, we can always, you know, even at our age, we still pull the cage and super nice, finish some time and see if they have the same opinion when they leave that cage.
Right. Well, it's all about the passion, eh? That's what drives us to do what we're doing. Even my little blog here, you know, people don't really realize. They say, oh, you just jump on camera and blah, blah, blah. I said, no, there's actually a planning process involved in this. And if you've seen any of my shows, and sometimes, aside from my interviews or having people on the show, it's, you know, sometimes it's 6, 7 takes before I get what I want. You know?
Exactly.
You know, well, I don't edit. Everything I do is pretty much raw, right? So it's you know, sometimes I don't like the way the camera's looking at me or whatever. You know, sometimes I mess up what I'm saying. Whatever, I'm human, right? But yeah, it's you know, unless you're really willing to step forward and put everything you've got into your end of what you're trying to get across in the MMA world, the combat sports world in general, it's really you know. You've got to be willing to do it all 100% or go home.
Well, that's it, right? The more people that are into this, the better off it is for everyone. A lot of people think that you need that control at all times. With us, we look at how to get these athletes into those next levels.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm not like I've got later on tonight. I'm doing another show. I've got. Mike Davis, he'll be on the June 19th Habit card for Habit 9, and he'll be on the show later tonight. I've got Jesse Fox, he'll be on the show at some point before the card. He's a busy guy. I'm hoping to get Noah Ali back on. I've had Austin G. Ryan on. You know, and it's, you know, people say, well, you know. You're cutting in and out?
Oh, yeah, we're kind of cutting in and out there a little bit. But yeah, no, I was just kind of joking. I said, you got all these big superstars on your show, and you got a little guy like me out of Atlantic Canada.
Well, you know, I've had Ryan Ford on my show. I've had Snillinho, the Prince Rama on my show. These guys are big names. Marcus Hicks, they're big names out west here. And of course, Ryan Ford and Snillinho, big World Series of Fighting names. But you know, it's the younger guys that really interest me a lot too. You know, because these are the stars of tomorrow. And
I've got a star here coming out of St. Stephen. I love to start seeing. We had a competitor for him, and there's another show that's in his hometown, being less than 4 days later, and so he kind of bowed out. But I have a young fellow here. It's his actual debut appearance as a karate black belt. His name's Jesse Atkinson. He goes by the Assassin. I'm telling you.
I'm looking at him right now.
If I was the MMA coach, watching out for this kid.
Yeah, he's going up against the Dolly, is he? Or no? Kenny Ducette.
He's supposed to go up against Mark Heber here. It was a young fellow out of the Baptiste area in Brunswick. And this other kid there, even though he has a contract and everything else, the amateur is a little different than the professional, where, you know, it's you don't have the same style of controls in place if you sign a contract, besides a person's word and their handshake. But young Jesse there, we're working presently to find a good, you know, beginner 0-0 with a good karate or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu karate-based background to meet him in the cage on June 20th.
Right.
I think that's going to be one of those kids that maybe are up-and-comers.
Yeah, I've been reposting your call out, looking for a couple of fighters every day, actually.
Yeah, it's hard, man. That's one of the biggest part of this game is that, you know, in Atlantic Canada, you have the guys that have been here all. I mean, I find there's a lot of recycling and the professional levels. My big thing is to get away from that, to give the amateurs a chance to get their experience over the next 2 years, and then get them into a professional level that's going to just cause an explosion in Atlantic Canada at the professional level.
Right on. Right on. Well, I'm looking forward to it. Will this June 20th card, is that going to be streaming anywhere?
We're working on, we'll be able to let you know here in the next couple of days here, Gord. I had an original guy who was going to do my sound, and he was kind of, I talked to three different quotes, and it was a fellow I knew for years, and won't mention any names, so I'm kind of not like that, but he tried to scam me a little bit on his price, and so I just got a new fellow here as of last night to replace him to do our sound. So what it is that the integration between our videographer and that, so before we will post the actual the stream link,
right,
and we're going to keep it as low cost as possible for people to actually view this. That's because one of the things we do is it'll be all in 1080p high definition, the whole 9 yards. But we went all into the show to St. John. It's a real big homegrown entertainment.
Right, right. Well, hey brother, thanks so much for being on the show. I'm timing out here because I got really shitty internet service up here and it takes me 4 hours to upload a show. Sometimes all night.
Welcome to the country, my friend.
Such is the fun of being so far north. Yeah. But man, you're going to do good. I know you are. And we'll get you back on the show hopefully after your June 20th card. And we'll break that down and see how it went for you.
That sounds great, my friend. Thank you very much for having me on your show.
Thank you. Peace, my friend.
Peace out.
All right. Alright, so, Mean-Muggin with Chinny G. Love you guys. So that was Edward Hoyt from Hoyt Productions and Atlantic Warriors, man. And we liked that. That was a lot of fun. So, with that being said, big shout out to MMA Madhouse. Love you guys. Oh, Mean-Muggin MMA House. Love you guys. Big shout out to Edward Hoyt for being on the show. Oh, Mean-Muggin Edward Hoyt. Thanks, buddy. And to my friends at Havoc FC, love you guys. Mike Davis on the show later tonight. Peace, my friends. Be good to one another. At the end of the day, we're all one. And how we treat each other is all we got. Peace. Ba, ba, ba.